I am in his own right, that, you know, he's been around for 45 years, and he's been involved in so many facets of this real estate industry. So for me to get him to come on today, I was so happy for all of us that, you know, he's going to share some of his wisdom. Like, and Barry was also famous because he said one day, you know what, I have all these people on Facebook that I never meet them in person. So he developed this thing called Realtor in the Park. And we have created some of our greatest, closest friendships out of that, Barry.
Yeah.
You know, and when we open it up the next time, I'm going to be a major sponsor, and we're going to do one more time kick-ass Realtor in the Park, right? They'll have to have tickets to buy tickets to come in, and we're just going to have like a celebration like no other.
I was looking, I'm trying to kick up my promotional stuff. So I started digging into videos that I've done that never got posted to YouTube and everything. And I came across the Realtor in the Park, and I've got a smart TV, giant TV, and I'm watching them, and I'm sitting there. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was almost in tears saying, this is the society that we had. This is the touching, the feeling, we were all standing there in a park singing that silly song that is so haunting. Realtors in the Park, you know, with Shel Sharp and J-Lo came up with this.
It was an anniversary today, I think.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Well, it's Belize, so, you know, they're enjoying life down there.
Anniversary to you two guys.
My phone off. Got to shut my phone off. But what was beautiful that I think came out of it is, you're right. I can't believe how many people actually connected through that. I have no idea how many referrals came out of it, but I am going to say one thing to you. When it's my time for my eulogy, my daughter, when she will stand up to do it, because my daughter is usually this family spokesperson, only thing I want her to say about me really is, he connected people. That's my life. I connected people. And Realtor in the Park's an extension of it.
That was a great extension. Like I said, we have some of our closest friendships from that Realtor in the Park, you know, and everybody's everywhere, all different brands. It's not just one brand. Barry, tell them where you work at.
Okay, so you're just going to correct something. In August, I start 53 years in real estate.
Well, I missed a few years. COVID-19.
A few years, you know.
Washed up.
Yeah, well, it was the drugs kicking in. What can I tell you? So, mind you, in my case, it was Novocaine. I'm at Remax Ultimate. I closed my own brokerage. I had my own brokerage always, about 8 years ago, and I had no intention of ever going back into residential. I'm not going to lie to you. I was phobic. I used to take a look at the residential forms and go, I can't do all these forms, this paperwork, because in commercial, where I came out of after so many years, we hardly ever did the paperwork. I did big deals. You introduced the people, you did everything. People shook hands, and the lawyers got involved and wrote the contracts. And most cases, as an independent broker, I didn't even have my trust account, any money in it, because it was held in trust by the lawyers. And all of a sudden, I'm coming back and dealing with these forms. And I'm going to digress for 1 second. I told the girls in the office, the ladies in the office, I want you to go to the dollar store. I don't care about the awards I get every year in real estate. I want you to go buy one of those little $1 trophies and give it to me special at the awards dinner if I earned it. And they go, what for? I says, if I ever send one deal in with every initial perfect, with everything signed the way it's supposed to be, and everything done, I want that trophy. So far, after 8 years, I have not earned that trophy. Every time I send in a deal, they're up with a whip. Barry, you forgot to do this. Barry, you forgot to get the acceptance. Oh, you missed an initial. I don't like paperwork. I love selling real estate, just don't want to do the paperwork.
Geez, that's a mere reflection of myself, right? Let us just go talk, let us go sell.
Sell! A salesman, I don't want to do paperwork.
No, we're not very good at it, right?
No.
And you know, this is the funny thing with everybody that may be on this call. Guys, there's going to be some things you're really, really good at and some things you're not so really good at.
Yeah.
So figure out what you're good at and do lots and lots of it. And then if you're not so good at it, either pay someone to do it for you or get better at it that you can get through it. Because in our legal documentations, because Barry, I'm going to explain what he does. he does a lot of legal work. So, you know, legal documentation has to be done. We have to do it. RICO, TREB, all of that. If we don't do it, we're going to lose our license. So we need to continue.
Well, I gave up my mortgage broker's license a few years ago because, bluntly, I had a mortgage broker's license for 40 years. Now I'm sort of sorry, but the government regulations of what you have to fill in every year overwhelmed me. I took one look going, I don't need this bullshit. I'm not going to do it. And I gave up my license. I surrendered my license.
So, you know, Barry, you've been in this business 53 years, okay? So you think 53 years ago, even a telephone would have been just basically a rotary phone, right? Is that what you had then? You know, I've been in it 35 years, and I think you know, I go a long time, and I see we had rotary phones back then. Yeah. You know, we didn't have any push button phones. We were still on rotary. And, you know, so how I can't even fathom, like I said, 35 years is almost unfathomable to me, but you go on another 15, 16 years. So you've had to overcome a lot of hardships and a lot of different changes. So what would be some of your earliest challenges you had when you began? And then let's move along your long, illustrious career, right? You know, you think back 50 years ago, you started this business. What did real estate look like then? And the changes that we've seen in 5 decades.
Well, when I started, I mean, the Toronto Real Estate Board, who knows how many members there are today? The number bantered around is 56,000. Yeah. I was probably 4,500 people when I came into real estate.
If you were lucky then. I bet you wasn't even that. When I got into it, I think there was only about 7,000 or 8,000 people.
Yeah, I think we were around 4,500. But the difference was that everybody was making, except for the really older guys that were starting to retire, people were full-time making a living. I mean, and you know, you look at real estate today, what's the difference? About 4,500 people still control the entire market. It's the same number. The rest are fodder. So you know, I sold 100 homes my first year in real estate. I sold 98 closed. Now, TREB would give you in those days, if you sold $1 million of real estate, you got a pin for $1 million. You know how few people got that pin?
Sure, houses like $35,000, $6,000, $7,000.
$14,000, $10,000. I saw, you know, I was a speculator for years. Daryl, I counted one day. I bought at least 15 houses in my career under $10,000.
Wow.
The lowest I ever paid for a house was on Shooter Street. I paid $6,500 for a house.
Would you like to own all those houses today?
Well, I don't even start. I could cry. I've owned 600 homes, and I went broke. And this is part of my life. I don't have to hide it. It's a reality. This is what happened. I bought houses. We had a company, WFE Developments. I parked my license for a few years. And WFE, we bought it sometimes 40, 50 houses at a time. There were huge landlords that owned blocks of houses. The Weston family owned most of Cabbagetown.
Wow.
I know one guy bought over 100 houses from the Westons. And we would buy, I was averaging on my own about 12 to 13 buys a month. And I had my own crew. I had the same guys for 13 years. We renovated. At one time in Riverdale, 1 out of every 3 renovations going on in Riverdale was mine. And I did houses for guys like Peter Mansbridge. I mean, I started getting up. Richard Silver always laughs, calls me a white painter, because in the early years, all we did was fluff up the houses. You know, we didn't do much. And then we started to put in new kitchens. Then we started the flooring, and we started renovating. And I got caught. You know, at 26, I could retire for life. I was that wealthy. At 26, starting with nothing. And at 27, I owed over $1 million, when $1 million was a tremendous amount of money, because the Ontario government brought in the land speculation tax, which brought in the Lebow adage: behind every successful business venture in the province of Ontario will be a piece of government legislation to wipe it out. And that's just the way life is. I mean, I've been wiped out a couple more than once, and desperation, and never went to drugs, never went to alcohol. I did all kinds of crazy things that you couldn't believe out of desperation. And Daryl, one of them was I would go around to police stations, especially, and bakeries. And I'd put notes. I'd go to the sergeant and say, "Can I put this on your bulletin board?" He'd read it. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Are you working night shift? You can't see houses during the day? I will take you out after your midnight shift. I was going out at 3 and I had a list of vacant houses, and I was selling cops at 2 and 3 in the morning, and bakers. And that's how I did 100 homes my first year in real estate. When I had 33 houses and got caught in the speculation tax, you can't believe what I did. I was 24, and no matter what, if I got home at 2 in the morning or 3, no later than 9 o'clock the next morning, I was jacket, tie, in my office, ready to go to work. Tired, but I went to work. I didn't lay around. I kept hustling. You can't bounce back, man, if you're having a pity party.
See, guys, listen to this very, very carefully. You know, he got out of his box because, guys, to go to a police station and put this poster on a board, that takes a lot of balls, right? So he got out of the box, and as you hear in his early career, he got knocked down many times. But being resilient, and he'd go 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, work, he'd get right back up and do it again. So Tommy Vu, there was a thing in our CCR group, and it just came across, and he was a busboy, and he was serving water to this old guy, and what the guy said to him is, he said 3 things to him. Don't give up. So everybody write that down. Don't give up. The other 3 things I would say is, the other 3 words is, just do it. So Barry, every time you got knocked down in different circumstances, you had to reinvent yourself, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I didn't want to be a real estate appraiser. I was desperate. I built one of the largest appraisal firms in the country. And my last appraisal contract before I sold the company was for between $1.5 million to $2 million. I had 6,000 properties to appraise in the United States, predominantly in Texas. And not bad for someone that started at $75 in appraisal. But you got to understand that when I got wiped out at one point in the 80s, I got a phone call from a lender. I had a real estate license, a mortgage broker's license. Mortgage rates at 21%. I'm sitting there with houses that needed $100,000 draw to finish the renovation, and my mortgage lender went broke. The government seized the mortgage lender. I can't get draws. I can't get anybody to lend me, and the mortgage rates are 21%. You couldn't sell a house. You couldn't give away a house.
That was 1981, 82.
1981, 21.46% prime first mortgage. And I got a phone call. I was desperate. I mean, I didn't know what to, you have no idea what desperation was. And I get a phone call from a small mortgage lender, said, "Barry, do you still have appraisal designation?" I go, "Yeah, I don't hardly use it, but I've got it. We're in trouble. We got all these small developers, builders, infill builders that have walked away from their projects. The appraisers don't have a clue, A, what it's worth as is, what it's going to cost to finish, and what's the projected value." I said, "Well, that's no problem. That's what I do." And she turned around. I did a couple of fast, and then the next day or two, there was a meeting of the Small Trust Companies Association. Next thing you know, my phone was ringing off the hook. And I got busy. And I said to my wife at the time, I said, "I'll do this for 3 years, get everything paid off, get back on my feet, and get back to real estate and hustle." Well, 3 years became 10 years, and 10 years became 20. And I stayed too long at the dance. I mean, I did a lot of commercial deals during that time as a broker, but I'm sorry I spent all those years. I mean, appraisal bailed me out, but it wasn't my love. I wasn't passionate about being an appraiser. I was passionate about building the business. The business of appraisal turned me on. My dad taught me. My dad was a master salesman. I'm writing a book, an article now about my dad who had nothing down, zero. And he bought an entire town called Spanish Ontario, which is up between Wawa and Sudbury. He bought a town with nothing down, and in 1959 or 60, made over $1 million, when $1 million was staggering back then. And Dad taught me like this. He said, remember, the door you don't knock is the door with the deal behind it. And I've lived my entire life with that.
I love that quote. Can you say that again?
The door that you do not knock is the door with the deal behind it. So I'll give you an example. Anybody who's listening right now, where's your dentist? Where's your lawyer? When's the last time you were in an office building, a plaza, where there were offices? So did you just go to the dentist and walk out? That's the biggest mistake people make. If I'm in an office building, I'm not going to the TD Center, but I like smaller office buildings, suburban especially. If I have a dentist appointment on the 4th floor, an appointment with an accountant, I'll go to the top floor. And I get off the elevator and I walk around and I see a lawyer's office, an accountant's office, something that says real estate developer. I walk in and introduce myself. And I do that. I walk down the whole building. Then I go back to my appointment. And at one time, my database when I came back to selling real estate was 1,350 lawyers, plus another 500-600 accountants, trustees. Now my database is much tighter of lawyers. I serve lawyers more than I serve the public. And I go out and I knock doors. I'm constantly soliciting, dropping in. I have a protege young man I'm mentoring as an appraiser. And I said to him, when's the last time you went and introduced yourself? Knock a door. What can they do? Say no? It's the worst they can do. Mind you, I did have a shotgun pulled on me once, but that's
Really?
Oh yeah, it was a divorce. The guy was a little nuts. Had an axe. I had an axe too. I had a guy with an axe, but that's
guys. There's many different ways to prospect, and in this business, I don't care if it's 50 years in the business, 35 years in the business, 2 years in the business. If you're not talking to somebody to let them know you're involved in real estate, you're making a grave mistake. Listen. You guys have all been at home for the last 2.5 months. Now, how many people come up to you and say, sell my house? Unless they're a past client or a good friend, nobody. So you need to be doing outbound prospecting, no matter how you do it. Text, email, fax, get a drone now and fly it around with a little banner in behind it. Who knows? But
well, the warm market. I had a talk. I hope they're not on because I don't want to embarrass them. But they don't even want to know this. I got a call a few weeks ago from someone I consider a top realtor. Lovely person. Somebody I'd buy a house from in a minute. And they were down. They were just depressed, down. It's never had been, couldn't understand it. It was just the COVID. Yes, COVID shut us down, but really feeling it. So I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop feeling sorry for yourself. Would you be good enough to start going back to your earliest clients and start phoning them and saying, hi, how are you? What's doing? How are you doing in this crisis? I have here, I guess it can't be, I'll just show you. I don't know if I can do this. There's a thank you note here, okay? I got in the mail the most beautiful thank you note. She called someone, she said she never even had a great relationship with them. That person immediately gave her a lead, and that lead's turning into a deal because she made the phone call because they said, stop feeling sorry for yourself, get back on hustle. You want to feel sorry for yourself, feel sorry for yourself. No problem. Everybody feels sorry for themselves at times. But, you got to get on with it, man. I mean, look at the business we're in. You're a factory. You come in the morning, the minute you wake up and start getting yourself groomed and ready to go to work, you turn on the switch on your own assembly line. When you go to bed at night, you shut off your assembly line. Your factory closes. So you're your own factory, your own business.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. They just think that, like, I know a lot of people have just gone home, and the first 2 weeks is totally understandable. The world was just happening. We were doing everything you wanted to do, whatever the case might be. And it was just like hitting a brick wall. Everything just changed before our very eyes into something that we've never, ever encountered. Me and you worked through SARS. Maybe a couple other people here worked through SARS with us, but not to this magnitude. And people were frozen. People were scared. But guys, life is either going to go on or it's not going to go on. Your time is going to run out. You have a meter. That meter runs 24 hours a day. And you need to get as much as you can out of that 24 hours, because once that 24 hours is gone, you can never make that day back. Barry and I and all of you are at the youngest you're ever going to be for the rest of your life today. So remember that. So, you know, Barry, what I've always admired about Barry, he has so many different ways. He's been in so many different things. I read a little thing you're going to try a drone at the park the other day.
I just smashed up my second drone. I screwed that up.
I should get my drone. We'll go to the park together and fly them around together. Probably
I want to scare little foo-foo dogs, you know. No offense, Daryl. I know you got a foo-foo dog, so it's okay.
No dogs right now, unfortunately.
So. Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't want to hit a tender spot. I've been there myself.
So, you know, you think, you know, Barry's at the ripe age of 5 decades in this real estate business. So he's just 29. He looks good for 29. So he's doing things that are making him very, very uncomfortable that he's never had to do. Barry, we never had a Zoom call before. This is our first Zoom call together.
You and I, yeah, we've done some video just talking to each other on Facebook. Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, we're uncomfortable sometimes doing it, but sometimes you get it. And you talked about being appraisal. So you did it because it was a means to make you money.
Yeah.
But it become complacent, and it was a sure and safe place for you. So you stayed there longer than you should have.
Because you never stay at the dance too long, man.
That's right.
It was a bad, you know, this is a true story. I used to stand there in the morning. I had a big office. I mean, thousands of square feet and a big nut and, you know, at least 7 or 8 support staff, plus all the appraisers. I used to get the key to go, it's come in the back door. I used to put the key in the door and shake because I didn't want to go into the office. First of all, you know what it's like. Appraisers nobody likes appraisers. I mean, you know, they're screaming, especially when we were doing so many divorces and that. We were always wrong, you know, I mean, the screaming, the yelling. I mean, so what I did was I had a policy, a very strict, rigid policy. The louder, the worst call that I had to make every day was the first call. So the most irate person, I phoned them immediately and got it out of the way. I never procrastinated. The minute I got them out of the way, then everything was easy.
That's like, you know, eat the frog first in the morning, that book, Eat the Frog.
Yeah,
right?
Eat the Frog.
Do the first thing that you don't want to do, and everything becomes easy after that.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's things I mean, look, I mean, I have my lot of weaknesses. I mean, there's things I'd like to improve tremendously. But I'll tell you something. This is the first, I've never regretted my age. Whatever age I was at, I was happy with. But I'm going to tell you something right now. This is the first time I wish I was younger. Well, for 2 reasons. One, just to be able to sleep better. The other is I'm excited about the future. I think there's so much business out there. There's so many opportunities that weren't available to me in my younger years in real estate. This is an exciting time to be in this business. And as you know, I work a lot in the senior field. That, you know, I don't care if there's COVID. I don't care if there's a zombie apocalypse. People are going to die. People are going to have to go into homes. People are going to divorce. People are going to lose their homes. Now, here's the phenomenal story. If you go, for those that are in the Toronto area, if you look at Toronto Real Estate Board stats, I'm not making this up, this is reality. In every downturn, 1974, 1981, 1990, look at the stats. As prices came down, volume went up. So the amount of sales increased, and here's the bonus. There were less agents. Every time we had any kind of problem in real estate, it shook the trees and there was less real estate agents. I'm waiting to see what the stats are now, how many agents are going to be around. Now, Treb has put a moratorium on, they're giving them a break. Okay, leaving that alone, I expect less agents. By the way, did you know this? This is true. There were 40,000 people, either January or February, waiting at for Humber to take the real estate course. 40,000. Like, we need another 40,000 people in Southern Ontario selling real estate?
The last number I got from Treb was 58,000. A matter of fact, I'd like to personally congratulate you on the first Zoom call. Barry ran in the elections on the Toronto Real Estate Board as a director, correct?
Yeah, director at large, yeah. Not large director. No,
but as a director, and he got voted in. 50 years in his business, and he went and ran on the Toronto Real Estate Board, which I sent to you guys to vote for Barry, and he got elected. So congratulations.
I hope I can make a difference. I'll see what they want from me, and I'll do what I need to do. The only thing is, they better not put me near finance. I am the worst.
No,
I know my limitations. Money's to be spent. I don't know any other way. I never wanted to accumulate money. Never.
Well, you want to make it and be able to enjoy it.
I want to enjoy it. If I could, I want to die broke. I actually wanted, I hope at the very last thing I go out and have one great dinner with Vivian, and next day it's over. But or my family and that, I don't need money. What do you need money for? You're going to die. Enjoy it. Greases the wheels of life.
So I just want to say something. What my assistant gave me Natalie gave me this morning, and this listen this for a second, because this is about value. And Barry, you know about value, and I want everybody else, like my father used to teach me, give me $1,000 and you could have your $100,000 to me, and my $1,000 would go further with me than your 100,000 would be with you, because I just like to enjoy the second, right? So here's a guy, before he died, the father said to his son, here's the watch that your grandfather gave me. It's almost 200 years old. Before I give it to you, go to the jewelry store downtown, tell them I want to sell it, and see how much they offer you. The son went to the jewelry store, came back to his father and said, they offered $150 because it's so old, like you and Barry, right? The father said, well, go to the pawn shop. So the son went to the pawn shop, came back to his father and said, the pawn shop offered $10 because it looks so worn. So the father asked his son to go to the museum and show them the watch. He went to the museum, came back all excited and said to his father, the curator offered $500,000 for this very rare piece to be included in their precious antique collections. The father said, I wanted to let you know that at the right place, values in the right way. Don't find yourself in the wrong place and get angry if you're not valued. Those that know you're valued are those who appreciate you. Don't stay in a place where nobody sees your value. So know your worth, everybody. And Barry, you know your worth, right? And that's why that really struck me today, because I thought of you and me both, being the older guys, that, there's more value. I value your knowledge and your friendship more than anything. And I appreciate that, right? So, there's lots of young, creative people with a lot of this tech-savvy thing. But guys, it's like, you go on and you do your phone and you're texting. You go into a restaurant before COVID-19 even happened. You'd have 6 people there. They didn't even have a conversation. They were 6 and they're texting and talking to other people that weren't even there. So what people lost, Barry, what I see in any time is the art of communication, face-to-face, belly-to-belly. So, we may have to reinvent a little bit, where we're going to have to Zoom, because obviously Zoom doesn't have that touch. It doesn't have that feeling. But, you can still connect with your heart and your knowledge.
Well, it's interesting, you know, when my girlfriend Vivian came into real estate about 8 years ago, I forced her to read certain books. And one of the books that I made her read was the 21 and a half Rules of Sales and the Little Red Book by Jeff Gittimore, which has nothing to do with real estate. And that's what people forget in this business. And not only that, Vivian's now become a big advocate for or a fan of Jeff Gittimore. His videos are great because sales, this is a sales job. It's not just about real estate, it's selling. And you've got to understand selling, and you've got to understand Brian Tracy, and you've got to follow, you know, I mean, you know, Think and Get Rich is great. I mean, I loved it. It was at its time. I think Dale Carnegie, I think a lot of people should take Dale Carnegie. I think people should take Toastmasters. I mean, I can go on and on. I read so many books that have nothing to do with real estate. The psychology, I'm reading a book now. It's called About Human Nature, which I've never understood. I don't grasp. You sit there, Daryl, you show people everything that's right. This is the right decision, and they still will screw it up. I mean, I don't get people sometimes. They're their own worst enemies. By the way, I was looking quickly at who's online. Let me give a shout out for a minute, please. I saw my old friend Dan Gonens here from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Nice.
I mean, come on, that's fabulous. He's on with us from Scottsdale, Arizona. That's the beauty of this. I miss him. He's a great guy. I love this guy.
You know, that's the beauty of having these meetings. So people are afraid in some aspects, but as you and I both know, this is a great opportunity to grow and talk to more people than you could before. You know,
or study. Look at the first 30 days or 60 days. People who are watching this should have come out of the lockdown with better skills. I've been advocating, people that know me hear me this all the time from me. Every day I go on, when I eat lunch here, when I'm home, I turn on, I thank God for smart TV. I go to YouTube, how to, real estate. Oh my God, all the Tom Ferry stuff there, Mike Ferry's there, so many but all kinds of people. I watch listing presentation I'm obsessed with the listing presentation over everything else because it's yours to lose when you walk in the door. It's yours to lose. I don't lose too many listing presentations. I think I got a great presentation, but I was taught as a kid. See, I left school very young. And one of the first jobs I had was hustling Encyclopedia Britannica, which I hated doing it, but I did it. And we were taught how to sit in a room across a table and the V, and when the husband and the wife, and how you're supposed to be the focal point and do your flip charts and do this, and how people should look at you. Don't sit beside them on the couch. You sit in a V. I mean, I was 17, I learned this. Nothing's changed. The basics of selling are the basics of selling. I was lucky. I was raised by a master salesman. And my dad, I've never achieved the kind of success he's had, I should say. And Dad lived a big life, you know, and he taught me a lot. We didn't get along well, except in business. And I learned, but at 12 years old, you know, he had me knocking doors at 12 years old, Daryl. 12! I was knocking doors at 12 years old. True story. I did a video on it.
I was delivering newspapers. I had the largest newspaper route in Toronto at the time at 12.
Really? I did newspaper. I was a great delivery boy. I was a horrible collector. We had to collect ourselves in those days.
We did have to collect then, yes.
I couldn't collect. I was terrible at collecting.
I was great at collecting. I always got great tips. Right? But I used to cry every day in the wintertime. I used to have to go from Yonge Street almost to Dufferin. And in the winter, my hands, I got frostbite in the end of my fingers. I still have it today. But
Wow.
I used to cry. My fingers were so cold and delivering. But, you know, that was the learning how to work hard, you know, efficiently. You know, I wanted to buy my own clothes. Mom and Dad wanted us kids to dress the same way. We didn't have a lot of money. So my brother and I dressed the same. I hated it from the very young age. So I learned to work then to make my own money before I could go to Sir John's on Yonge Street by the Willow Theater to buy my own boots and to go to this other place to buy my own shirts and pants at 13.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So what things I don't see changing is you either have to don't give up every day, work hard and efficient, right?
Well, let's back up. You know, I remember one day Dad phoning me and he said, "Tell me what you did today." I gave him a little, I mean, it was unbelievable. I started 8 o'clock in the morning till almost 8 o'clock at night. And I'm going through, I did this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And my father said, "Okay, you worked hard today." I go, "Yeah." "Did you make a deal?" "No." "But you worked hard." "Yeah." "Can I tell you what I did?" "Yeah." I went to the golf club. I played on the course, played a little gin. Oh, by the way, I arranged financing of about $12 million on some apartment buildings. So my dad said to me, "Don't tell me how hard you work. Tell me how hard you focus." So hard work itself, I mean, there's a lot of people in our business, you work hard and deserving. It's not just hard work, it's logical work, it's targeted. I am a target guy. I target my clients. Right now, look at Daryl, I got the shit kicked out of me again. I'm sitting with a big business with seniors. Who in their right mind now is going to put mom and dad themselves going into a retirement home or a nursing home now with what's gone on with COVID? I just lost 30-40% of my business. Gone. It's going to take 2 years to come back, if that. So I looked at it. I said, okay, I still got the estate business. What am I doing now? I'm doing a huge promotion to all the lenders I know. I'm using video. I'm going out there. I'm doing presentations. I'm going after the power of sales. I'm going after the divorces, stuff I know, because that's targeting. I don't want the public themselves because the public is fickle. If I get one lawyer, a lawyer could be good between $50,000 to $100,000 a year of income if they feed you. So how many lawyers do you need to make a good living, or accountants? I have a trustee, a public trustee, bankruptcy trustee, that I got $1.6 million listing that I sold just before COVID hit. That's from a trustee. That's a relationship I built up. I go after trustees. I don't go after the public because that trustee could give me 2 more this year, and all I need is 10 of them and cultivate them. Now the problem is I can't take them out for lunch. You can't do the schmoozing. That's the hard one right now. The lack of schmoozing.
They're going to open up some patios Friday in probably Niagara Falls, probably Durham, maybe Barrie, not Toronto and close to GTA, but it's coming, so things are going to start to open up. This is not going to go away. COVID-19 is going to be here for at least 2 years.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to have to work through it and learn how to work through it. I'm going to have my agents coming back, hopefully in the next week to 2 weeks max, no matter what. They're going to come back and some will work at home, whatever. We'll have to figure out what we got to do. So yeah, you love to schmooze and sit there at restaurants with people. So, you might have to order food and go to a park and sit at a bed. I don't know. It's like,
I just bought a folding picnic table.
Did you?
Yeah, I bought a portable picnic table with each seat holds 4 seats. It's only 20 pounds. And I just bought a portable picnic table.
Well, then you don't have to sit at someone else's table, and you've got your table, right?
That's correct.
And this is what you have to look at. So, you just talked about losing 30 to 40% of your house because you're going to nursing homes. I was like you. I worked with a fair amount of nursing homes that we would get the people going into the nursing homes ourselves. So, like they say, nobody right now, if they can help it, are going to want to put anyone into a nursing home.
That's right. Unless you see what's happened. I got to back that up. I got to back up my statement. I've lost my clients of choice, but I still will deal with my clients of circumstance. Those that have to. But the ones that choose, look at it, it's $5,000-6,000 a month to go into a basic, nice quality retirement home. You know what? I can live at home and have care for a lot cheaper, or at least equal.
Yeah. So that's what might prevail a lot more is private healthcare going to people's houses, right?
I got a question here I'd like to answer if you don't mind.
Go for it.
What are the top, Barry, what is the top 3 things that you would tell a realtor to do to grow now, other than stop feeling sorry for yourself? You can, first of all, feel sorry for yourself. Get it out there. Really, you know, in Japan, they have these rooms where you can go in and smash dishes, and there's actually dolls that are effigies of your boss that you can beat up. Go do it, and get it out of your system. I've been obsessed for years. I wanted to make like, what do they call that stuff? Like the styrofoam stuff that kids, the smirk whatever. I wanted to make
all over the place.
Yeah, but I wanted to make one that looks like a computer. And I live in the penthouse of a building. I would love to throw a computer off the roof. They've caused me more aggravation in my career than they were worth. I just love to smash a computer, but you know, practical. So the first thing I would do is database absolutely. Here's the rule. A young guy came in, they said to me, what's the first rule of real estate? Database every single person you know and have ever met, and never stop being in contact till one of you die. It's that simple. That's the best rule of real estate I know. And keep building your database and send them. Don't send them, oh, it's October, you better shut off your outside faucet and don't forget to clean the gutters. That's crap. Give them substance. If you're going to do newsletters. And the other thing is, you've got to study. Oh man, you got to study. I mean, Daryl, I brought this up before. I was in a seminar on Zoom, and somebody asked me a question. I think it was Tony Joe in Victoria recently on the radio. I talked about you, Daryl. I said, why is it that I go to these seminars and conventions, and there's Daryl in the front row, one of the most successful realtors in Ontario, and I look at Daryl, he doesn't need to go to these. Why is he going? He's going because the sharpest knife always needs rehoning. You've got to always be sharp. And if you don't go, who does it? Most real estate agents fail for so many reasons. 1, they're not trainable. 2, they're not coachable. 3, they just don't want to do, they don't want to be part of organized real estate. You've got to learn this business. I'm 53 years. I know 53%. I'm learning constantly. I mean, the stuff I don't know is staggering. And I'm learning. And when you're at a seminar, Daryl, I'm usually with you. I'm there. Except I don't like a lot of the gurus. Those guys don't do it for me. Sorry. After the years of growing up with Floyd Wickman and Jerry Bresser and Tom Hopkins, this current crowd does not excite me.
Yeah, those guys are salespeople. Those guys were true salespeople.
Well, they were the leaders. They were. Nobody has ever written a bet. There's 3 great books I've ever read on real estate. First, Jerry Bresser, List More, Sell More. Yeah. List More, Sell More. You can't beat Jerry Bresser. He's still out there. He's 87 or something.
Yeah, they started coming reinventing themselves again.
That's right. So that's the first great book. Great book. List More, Sell More, which is a PDF. It's an ebook now. 2, I think Gary Keller did a great job in The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. But the book that has excited me the most in the last years is Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall. I don't think I've read a book.
My team has been taking that.
It's phenomenal.
Been working that with them on Mondays. So they've been actually doing the Ninja. I think a lot of them like it, right?
Just before the COVID, I was going to go to Colorado and take the course directly from Larry Kendall. I wanted to hear it from him. And COVID shot that down. So, but I can't believe how good a book it is. I mean, I loved Gary Keller's book. I didn't always like the rest of Gary's books, but Millionaire, Millionaire Agent, brilliant. But Jerry Bresser, way ahead of the pack. There's a lot of real estate books out there.
David Knox to me was probably one of the brightest guys to price any property.
Great hair.
But he was good on that.
It was his birthday yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah, I sent him back and forth. He thanked me for his, yeah. I know David. I've met him at more than one convention. Great head of hair. Did you ever notice all those guys got great head of hair? Maybe I should have been up there and had a great head of hair,
You still can, Barry. It's never too late. The hair salons are going to be opening up next week or the week after. So.
I have Daryl, I've got the same hair I've always had. Unfortunately, I keep it now in a box.
Well, here's the thing. You can keep compiling up more wisdom. You talk about 53% is what you know.
Yeah.
Listen, you could forget more than know 100% more than 99% of the realtors out there. And I feel the same way many times, that I could forget more than most of the realtors are ever going to learn. Because the moment you think you know too much is when you know nothing.
Yeah,
you need to be learning and growing every single day until they put you in that box. It doesn't matter what age you are. Even if you're retired, I think you still should be learning, right? I've come to the office every day, 9 to 5:30 through this whole COVID-19. I only had 3 of us here. Now, as of today, we have 6. But every day I wear a jacket, a shirt. I've been wearing jeans. I've been not wearing a complete suit.
I'm not wearing pants today, Daryl.
I thought you told me you were going to wear pants today.
I'm not wearing pants.
You like to dress up there, right?
I'm not wearing. I want to put on a suit and tie again so bad.
100%. That's coming. So, the biggest strength that I would always offer anybody, and all these speakers that we've talked about and learned from, is a mindset. If you can wake up every morning being positive versus negative, you're going to have a much better day. So, and
not always easy to do.
No, it's never easy to do. It's never.
But don't forget, you're going to remember, a lot of us, there's health issues. I wake up, I've smashed up. I've smashed my body up. And through real estate, I've had 9 car accidents. Motorcycle accident wasn't real estate related. And I fell through a roof and landed on my spine through an apartment building, inspecting an apartment building. I'll never be the same. I have pain 24/7, and you live with it. That's all there is to it. You live with it.
You adapt. So I ride my bike every single day now, right? I come home, I'm here till 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'll go home, I try and eat something quickly. And no matter what's going on, I try and go ride the bike. So that has been a godsend for me, because I feel stronger and more powerful than I have in a long time. So, if I'm going to get COVID-19, at least I want to be able to fight it off as quick as possible and keep pushing forward.
It reminds me of an old joke, Daryl. Reminds me of an old joke. Daryl, here, take a bike, go pedal your ass around town.
Yes, right? 200%. Guys, if you have any questions, we still have 10 minutes. Barry would love to answer any of your questions. So please ask us some questions that either
try to be serious. I'll put up my serious.
Never be serious. Listen,
I want to see a great. By the way, while we're doing this, I've got to do this, Daryl. Let me get my favorite background here. Hold on. Tell me that this.
What a vintage car that is. That is absolutely.
That's a Packard, my friend. Yeah. Hold on, I'll get out of the picture.
That is beautiful.
Look at that. 34 Packard.
Gorgeous.
Right? Remember the guy with the watch? He got $500,000 at the museum. If you had a car like that, it'd be worth a lot of money today. Right?
I drool for that car. It's a 34 Packard.
Look at the color of it. The color is amazing.
Oh, I would never have thought of mint green, wow.
That's an amazing color.
Yeah, I love that.
Did anyone have a nice question they would have asked my good friend Barry here?
Bald is sexy. Okay, Carol, that's good. Well, redheads are sexy, so what can I tell you? By the way, somebody said 2 legends live. I don't know about me, but if you don't think Daryl's a legend, ask him.
Hey, I got the Hall of Fame twice.
I know you have. I know you have, and I'm impressed. You've got. It's a joke already with you. The next time they go to give you awards, say, you know what, guys, can I have a wall instead? I think you're running out of space.
Well, yeah, we did run out of space. We came back to Remax 2 years, and then we got a whole shelf full of awards.
I keep telling my broker every year, what's an award cost you on wholesale? $50, $40, $100. Don't give me an award. I've never had enough money. Give me the $40. I'll take the $40. I'll remember it more.
200%.
I got awards sitting in drawer. I'm starting to throw them out.
I've got many in boxes also.
Oh, by the way, can I just go on? But while we're on that subject about awards, when they give you an award, Daryl, and you're at the checkout counter at Loblaws or Sobeys or wherever you go, when you got all those groceries on the conveyor belts, and you get them all at the end, and they're all bagged up, and you go to pay, do you pay with an award or do you have to pay cash?
My Visa.
So where I'm going is the words, they make you feel good, but they don't translate into anything. And here's something else. When you're doing your listing presentation, I have a program called, a seminar called my Kick-Ass Listing Presentation, which I don't give in Toronto. And in turn, all about me is hardly in the listing presentation. I don't start with the awards and all the stuff. Don't do it. They don't care. Don't care.
So true.
Hey, the man himself. Look who just showed up.
Two living legends.
We just got bombed by a legend here. Look at you.
I didn't want to come on and lower the average IQ. That's why I kept away.
By the way, for those that don't know, Richard Dugo, like one of the legends here. And the funny thing about Richard and me, a personal thing, we always seem to bump into each other in men's rooms. We never shake hands. And now with COVID, it's, Richard, think about it. How many times have I said, hey man, I'll catch you later. We always seem to be walking in the same men's room at the same time.
Well, it's so true about the awards. Because what happened, I actually made a little video, and I went shopping with the award to see what would happen. And I went to a pharmacy. I said, could I please have this? With a straight face. And you should have seen his face. You know, I gave him a trophy to see if he'd exchange it. I made a little video.
You know,
right. The awards, here's what the awards are. Listen, if you're an actor or an actress and you win an Oscar, that's for life. You'll always remember that. So, you know, it's not about maybe sitting there and beating to the public as much, but it's nice. They're always happy to know that they're working with a successful team or a realtor. But it's not about that. It's always about them. Always remember, first and foremost, it's always about them. I'm putting on my video here. Yeah. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
If you're looking good there. I didn't know you can dress up that well.
Right? If you can get an award, then you have to sit there and appreciate. Last night we had the awards at Remax Hallmark. So congratulations to all of us that won awards. That a lot of my team members won awards. Some of these other people may not have got it last night, but they got it for you. Barry, you got an award this year. So that's your hard work, your dedication, and your commitment. Now, that's something that everybody strives for. I know a couple of my agents were just short of winning it to another higher level. And that would have meant the world to them. So, you know, if you're a beginner and you're looking on stage and you see a Daryl King or whoever it is going up stage and being the #1 realtor in Ontario or Canada or whatever it is, you want to say, one day I want to be there. And I remember watching people years ago and saying, yeah, one day I want to, you know, be there. So you emulate and you transpire that. But it's not about, listen, I don't need to go to people and say, most of them know who we are, what we are. And the award is something that makes you feel good. And every day you should go to bed and feeling good on something that you did that day. You know, you talked about, you know, you worked 8 hours or 10 hours that day. Your father went out and did $12 million of things on the golf course. So it's if you can pick a win every single day, you're going to wake up in the morning feeling a lot better than going depressed. Oh, I worked all day, or I didn't work all day. I didn't do anything. I sat at home and moaned and groaned and complained. You're going to wake up the next morning moaning, complaining, and bitching. So that's the only thing about award as far as I'm concerned. And it's pushing yourself.
I agree. But yesterday, I went to my office. I connected with someone. They weren't there. I picked up about half a dozen quality men's suits, and they're
That's
going
it.
to one of my favorite charities. And I'm going to say this to you: when we have AREA has Realtors Care, some of the most generous people I've ever met in my career are realtors. And I just did a session for Remax Hallmark, and thanks to Kenny, Deb, and Steve, I got a very nice donation to my fund at Alzheimer's at Baycrest Hospital. Find a charity that really means a lot to you and work it. And don't do it for any other reason than you love to do it. You'll get business, it'll come, because people that there will admire you and say, hey, let's talk about real estate. Never tell them what you do, they'll know what you do. And work the charity you love, because giving back, if I had money right now, enough to really retire in style, I'd only do community work. I wouldn't do anything else. I could do 24 hours. I mean, that would be my obsession, is community work. There's no, I think we're going to see a real need for the food bank more than ever before. And people that are decent, hardworking people that have fallen through the cracks because of COVID. And we have to do what we can do. And the fact that we're blessed and we can make a living, we got to give back, man. We got to give back. You talk about awards, that's your best award, is that feeling of satisfaction that you've done something for another human being.
Well, we're on this call, guys. I remember I wanted 10 people to help with the food bank. They need our services, and so I need my 10 people that signed up. So after this call, I'm going to get a Zoom and put out our message quickly. Either in the next 2 days, we're going to donate our day for them, or early next week. So I need our 10 of our team. So yeah, we're going to do to the food bank. So we've already, 10 of us have already committed to doing it. So I want to make sure they're all going to still be on. So guys, it's always being able to give. And that's the beauty of life. That as long as you have an opportunity to make someone feel better, that when you walk into their life, that when you walk away, they're going to feel better because they met you, they spoke about you. Unless you have something good to say about something, rather not even say it. Just forget it. You know, I get times people ask me about a competitor. I say, yeah, they're a good agent, you know, and that's it. I leave it at that, right? But I'm not going to sit there and diss them or whatever, or her, or whoever it may be. It makes no sense, right? So just try and leave a bigger impact. And right now, you know, this world and this society needs that impact from everybody, you know. So, and you know, in my team, we're very multicultural. We have many different nationalities. You know, my best friend was Jamaican. He got killed in a car accident, unfortunately. But, you know, it doesn't matter what race, what color, what skin, what size you are, big or small, young or old, pretty or beautiful. Everybody is the same. We all mean something. There's, you know, we're all in this together. We all want to come out of this together. So respect each other and acknowledge each other and help each other. So from me, Barry, I want to say, you know, I'm so proud that you came on today. Your words of wisdom will always resonate in my brain. And, you know, I want to get together and have a dinner with you and Vivian coming up sometime soon. We'll probably at a patio, but sounds
I didn't see her for 7 weeks. That hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure it did, right? You know, I don't see my mother, and you know, it's killing me. You know, so I seen her twice, Mother's Day, and one other time just social, like out distance, and
It's been very difficult. You know, I got lots of my people I know around me can't cross the border, and they got family. You know. So. Can I say one thing about before we close this off?
Yes, of course.
There was a woman many years ago. Her name was Margaret Crispin. She wrote how any woman can get rich in real estate. I want you to understand something. When the doors in Canada were closed to most ethnic groups. I mean, I'm Jewish. The Italians were supposed to be laborers. They were never supposed to go up to university, become lawyers. Black people were supposed to be hidden in a corner. Real estate never, ever discriminated. It paid the same fee to absolutely everyone, man, woman, color, religion, race. It meant nothing. Real estate was the purest form of non-discrimination. It was an equal opportunity employer from day one. And so many ethnic groups got rich because they came into real estate when all other doors were closed. My respect. I remember I started off in real estate when you hardly saw a woman in real estate. Hardly. And then Lil Rush, of blessed memory, I love Lil, she opened up, I think, the first office that was 100% women. That was revolutionary back in the 60s. And what's happened to this business, have respect for the business you're in, because this business has given so many of us an opportunity to be great and to achieve. And it's a phenomenal industry. I have such respect for the business I'm in, you know, because of that. So I'll leave it at that.
Again, everybody, let's all thank Barry for being here. Big wave.
Thanks, buddy.
Right. Love you. Hugs.
Thank
And
you.
say hi to Vivian.
I will.
And we'll give you the recording. Everybody, today this will be.
I want that car behind me.
Hey, you know what? You get enough of those lawyers, you're going to have that car. You know that? And next Thursday, we have Walter Schneider on. So, Barry, make sure you're there.
Good.
So, Walter Schneider was the co-founder of Remax Integra, which came to Canada. So,
An all-around nice guy.
An incredible nice man.
Incredible
so he'll be on
guy.
next Thursday with us. So, everybody, we're wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Daryl. This is great.
Okay, guys. Take care.